Hi guys! So today I'm in Amsterdam ahead of the M14 European Dating Conference, and I'm really lucky to be joined by Robyn Exton, who's the CEO and founder of Her. And I've got some questions to quiz her. So Robyn, first of all, to get started, how have dating apps changed the LGBTQ community?
I think they've probably, since the Stonewall riots and the kind of legal progressions that are being made, I think apps have made some of the most significant changes within the community. A bit of debate about whether it's all for good or if some of it has been for bad. I think it's created the biggest space and biggest visibility that you could ask for within the community. Sometimes people question if it's been at the detriment of some physical spaces, that, bars and clubs used to be so important to the community and people don't need them as much anymore, which is a combination of like societal acceptance and increasing rents for properties. But it's also because people use apps to meet each other a lot more often. And I think overall it's a wonderful thing, like taking away those barriers of what it meant to meet other people like you. It was terrifying and really hard and made you question huge amounts before you had the opportunity to explore it. But I think it's overall made the most fantastic progress. I think it's just changing the world around it, and that means losing a few things that used to be really important to the community.
It's interesting. It's providing a safe space, and also a space which makes you realise just how many people there are out there just like you. I think it's, particularly if you have grown up in a small town and you don't know many people who are in the same situation you are, actually to have that visibility.
It's exactly, the visibility is so. I remember the first time my friend was on Grindr and we were in the office and he was like, "Oh my God, Darren from accounts," and there was a part of us was like, "Oh my God, are we outing Darren from accounts?" And then it was like, no, it's actually, this is great for my friend to see other like gay people, so he could then go have a conversation with him and be like, hey, go out and spend time together, and like building those networks, like being able to know that there's multiple, like millions of people like you, that you can be friends, not be friends, that you have so many options of who you want to spend time with, is really, really valuable.
So what are some of the issues on apps in the LGBTQ space?
I think what's funny is that people often see the LGBTQ community as this like really inclusive, really like supportive family. Everyone's like, riding unicorns and waving rainbow flags. I think some of the biggest issues on the guy side, and what I hear about from the guy apps, there's a lot of issues about racial profiling and being able to filter by race, and people being really unaccepting of other races, and that's because the app's built in racial filtering. And then also there's a lot of apps had some big issues with drug use and having hookups being defined around taking drugs at the same time, and making sure that people have safe sex while doing that. And I think there are some really great companies that are making it very clear that that's not okay and not what they want to happen. I think inside the female space, there's still a lot of biases against different sexualities. So lesbians have a long-standing issue with, has been a vocal issue that lesbians have with bisexual people, and they're happy to say that. And we'll have stuff inside the app where people are posting that, and it's bisexual users are nearly half of our community, and it's completely unacceptable. So it's kind of partially just as much as straight people have to become educated about LGBTQ people. People inside the community need to become educated about LGBTQ people, like accepting trans women, supporting them, being there for them, stepping up for non-binary people, and understanding how you are someone about their gender pronouns, understanding that sexuality might not be super clearly defined. It could be different and changing and evolving, and I think more education and better acceptance.
What can mainstream apps be doing to better serve the LGBTQ community?
I just think there's some really simple things of just like allowing people to express parts of their identity. Like, most of the time you can just say if you are interested in men and women, or say if you are a man or a woman. So simple to allow people more options beyond that, and it means the world to people in the community, and gives them that really great, that people get that it's not as simple as that binary.
I suppose I was just coming at it from, I know that one main issue is just the search function though, isn't it? It's working out how many options you can get that do include everyone, but also that mean that people don't get missed out. So that, because if you allow people to completely self-define, almost free text, how do you make sure that they get caught up in a net and someone that might be interested in them can still see them?
Well, that's normally it switches, and that's, if you set these things, it's literally, toggles that you go between. And so if you're saying how you identify and how you express, there's normally the opportunity to say, what you would be interested in. So if I'm non-binary and my sexuality is fluid, I would probably say that I'm interested in male-identified, female-identified, non-binary, trans, like whatever other gender identities are being listed. And therefore that, and you know, depending on what that person has said that they're interested in as well, that would bring us together in the same pool. Just got to let people say it, and then it's like, instead of having 2 options, you have 8, and it's just different.
Working out what those 8 options are.
Yeah.
I mean, if there are people watching who are from mainstream apps, where can they go to kind of get better education on this kind of stuff?
The internet is a great resource, but even just as like a basic education on how to even understand how sexuality and gender identity are different things, and gender expression is a different thing, and romantic expression is different. There's this great illustration called The Genderbread Person, and it covers off how these different aspects interlace with each other. And then I think, you know, depending on which country you're in, there's normally a great kind of national resource centre. So in the UK, that would be Stonewall. In the US, it would be HRC or NCLR or Human Rights Campaign. That's HRC. There's one other I've forgotten. But they'll have tons of documentation. Like GLAAD is a great resource. Loads of documentation about how to talk to people, like how to consider individuals, make people feel included.
So how does Her handle sexuality and gender identity?
So for us, it's pretty much our identity is about other people's identities. So I think we go to levels that I would not necessarily suggest other people do, or even I think they have to. I think you can do some good, like, broad terms that makes people feel included. For us, it's about like really true expression of your identity. So at the moment we have, I think we have 23 gender identity options, and I think about 16 or 17 sexuality options. And it's not something that we will ever limit or stop. If someone asks for a new one, we will add it in there. It's completely about being able to express who you are. So for us, it's at the forefront. And I think for other people, it's a function that being inclusive of others should be accounted for. But yeah, for us, it's just to express every part of who you are.
And what is next for Her?
Next for Her is the social part of our community has been this kind of like a bloodline inside of it, and we're growing it a lot this year. So creating communities inside our community and like helping people meet the other people that are like them. And then also the events that we run is going to be a really big focus for this year, for making physical spaces, real life experiences where people within our community can meet each other, because it's great to know that they're online, but it's also incredibly powerful to meet someone in real person and have a friend that you have known, you read each other, you can call each other, you can go out for drinks, you have like a real kind of IRL friendship. So we'll go to the events.
How big is this community now? It's massive.
So the online community has 2 million users, and for events, I think we've hosted just under 20,000 people in events. And so then normally it's like 400 to 1,000 people at each one.
And how many countries are you in now?
The app's in 55 countries, and the events run in 5 countries.
That's amazing. So it's been so great to watch Her developing, and I can't wait to see what's next.
Yeah, me too.
Thanks so much.